Today, we're going to take a look at the top 3 biggest hands that I've ever played. Let's get started with number 3.
I straddle. $50. Let's get this game out of the mud.
This is a 5-5 no-limit hold'em cash game that allows for unlimited straddles. So we have a $50 straddle to start this hand. We're playing short-handed, and I look down at king-queen suited in early to middle position.
I raise. Make it 150, boys.
So I raise to 150.
You don't scare me. I call.
The player to my left calls.
Gamble, gamble.
And the button calls. The flop gives me 2 overs and a flush draw.
I bet 300.
So I see a bet 300 with my flush draw.
I'm in. I'd never fold this hand.
And the player on my left calls, which we're okay with.
You know what? I bet it all. I'm all in.
In this spot, I'm just going to call. I really want the other player in this hand to continue. I don't want to scare him out by shoving, because I could win a really big pot if I hit a spade on the turn.
You're all in? Okay, I call.
If this guy shoves, I am not folding.
Yeah. I call too.
And he does call. Let's see the turn, dealer. A 7 of diamonds. That's no good. But if you've watched any of my past vlog videos, I think you know what I do here.
You know what? If you got me, you got me. I'm all in.
I rip it in for just over 2K.
Holy cow. I mean, I have 5-6 of diamonds. Can I ever fold? I can't fold. I call.
Let's recap. I have king, queen of spades for a flush draw. I'm going to need a spade. The player on my left has 5-6 of diamonds for a pair, an open ender, and an open-ended straight flush draw. Somehow the button has a smaller open ender with a flush draw that's no good.
I guess I need a spade.
I only run it once, so let's see a river.
Or a king.
I don't hit a spade, but I hit that king on the river.
Oh my God. You're so lucky.
I'm so unlucky.
Now for hand number 2.
Straddle. 50.
This is actually a different game that also allows for unlimited straddles, and we're going to start with a $50 straddle on the button. In this short-handed game, I look down at 5-6 of clubs in the small blind.
I call.
And I call the 50.
I'm in.
Raise it up. 250 to go.
This game is playing 4-handed, and the 3 players in this hand, we all have 6K in front of us.
I call.
Since we're all this deep, I'm going to call.
Let's try to get lucky.
It's an okay flop. We flop an open ender.
I check.
Okay.
No free cards. I bet 300.
After calling 250 pre-flop, we're definitely calling 300 with our open ender.
Call.
This sucks. I fold.
The turn now gives us a flush draw to go with our open-ended straight draw, but it pairs the board, so I'm going to be careful out of position.
Check.
Is it on me? 450.
And he bets 450, which is another very reasonable price. I'm definitely going to continue in this hand.
Okay. Let's see a river.
And we river a flush.
Check.
And just before I check, I think, do I have a straight flush? Oh my God, I didn't even realize I turned a straight flush draw. So now I'm just scanning the board, trying to figure out if I actually have a straight flush.
Make it 900.
And as he's piling up a $900 bet, I realize I do actually have a straight flush, and I know I'm going to be raising. I have about 5K in my stack, so making it 20-something hundred seems kind of weird, putting half your stack in there. So I end up deciding we're going to go for it all. But I have to tank for a while, act like I'm doing some sort of math or thinking about ranges.
I guess I'm all in.
Man. Only 2 hands beat me. Well, I can show my hand, right?
The player decides to just go ahead and show his hand while he's thinking about what to do, and I realize when he shows his hand that he didn't actually mean only 2 hands beat him. He just meant that the way the hand had been played out, that he felt only 2 hands beat him.
I call.
Straight flush, baby.
He calls by flipping out a 1K chip, and we win a 12.5K pot in a 1-3 game. And now, the biggest hand that I have ever played. This hand takes place in Choctaw at the World Series of Poker Circuit event. We started out with 15,000 in chips, and man, did I run hot to build up a stack early. I remember flopping set after set after set, and nobody ever folded. I had doubled up by the first break, and by the second break, I had 100,000 already. I was sitting next to poker legend TJ Cloutier, who said he had never seen anyone run a stack up this big in a tournament this quickly. He went on to predict that I would win the tournament. Now, there were some bumps in the road, and I didn't actually end up bagging up a stack that was representative of how hot I run in the beginning, but I made it to day 2 with a healthy stack. I continued to run pretty good on day 2, building my stack, and as we neared the final table, I really started just crushing it. I made the final table with 7 million in chips of the 31 million in play. When we got 6-handed, I had a third of the chips in play. I get heads up for the ring, and I have a 4-1 chip lead. We play a few hands going back and forth. I remember winning a pretty big hand where I value bet 2 million on the river prior to the last and final hand. My opponent goes all in. I look down at ace queen and I call. He has queen 8. I have him dominated. The flop comes down all rags. The turn is an ace. And before I can even realize what that means, he's shaking my hand because he's drawing dead. And I win first place in a World Series of Poker Circuit gold ring. Second place was $67,000, with first place being $107,000, which makes this the biggest pot I've ever played for a $39,000 pot. You hear this all the time, but let me explain. Please subscribe. This is the only way I'm gonna know that I'm not just wasting my time making these videos. And please visit razorclothing.com. That's my poker clothing line. T-shirts, hats, hoodies, all for less than your last river bluff.